Okay, so fast forwarded and I've done the feather slots on this end component here. It's ready to be copied to this end now. It's just a matter of selecting it once. M for move copy, hit the Alt key to create a copy, get a reference point. I'm going to use that reference point there. I'm going to move it down to this end here. Move it out a little bit this time before we actually rotate it. I'm going to use Control click and we're going to flip along, this time the red axis, and then we're going to choose that point right on the end there and connect it to that point there, and the whole thing has been assembled. Now we have the two short sides and the two long sides. They've been combined, ready to take the lid and the panel at the bottom. So we've also got to put the feathers in. I think I might do the feathers first because they're fairly easy. So we're going to zoom in. We're going to rotate a little bit up that way. Okay, and we're now going to draw a rectangle in here and then build it out to a three-dimensional object. So we need to draw it along this axis here. So we go R for rectangle. I'm going to click on that corner there, bring it out to that corner. That out this way, and again that pull out that way. Now we only have to draw this once, and I'll show you why in a minute. We draw this once. We're now going to draw a line across the top there so that we can cut it off. We're going to draw one on the bottom. Around the back. I didn't even have to do that because I could simply have done this. Draw a line across there once and push that down till it disappears. Push that down till it disappears. We now have this little object in there. I'm going to triple click. I'm going to control click and I'm going to make that a group. Now I've drawn that once. Now we've got to put one there. We've got 12 of these to put in there, but we can copy them. So we select that now, and we use M for move copy and the Alt key. Just have to select that and go down to there and do the Alt key again and take that down and put in there. Very easy to do that. But we can also do this. We can select that object using the Shift select, hit the Shift key, and then we can add that component and that component. We've got 3 of them selected now. We can now hit the move copy key, M for move copy. We're going to select that corner there and we can move that across and place them there. Whoop, I forgot to hit the Alt. I'll have to undo that. I'll do it again. M for move copy, click, Alt to make a copy, and I'll move them across to there. Now, when we move them across, they're actually the wrong way around. But we learnt from before that we can actually flip these. And we want to flip this along the green axis to flip them around the other way. So, and that's why I've left them out here to make sure that we've got them the right way. Control click. And we're going to flip along green. They're the right way now. Zoom in and I'm going to move them back and place them in there. The thing is we can do the same at the other end. But rather than do 2 corners separately, we can now use Shift and Select to select that one, and that one. You know, they're all highlighted now. And by zooming out and rotating around, we can now select the move copy, Alt for copy, click that, and we're going to move that right up the other end. And this time we're going to control click. I accidentally let it go there. Control click, and we're going to, what I forgot to do is I have to actually, when I do the control click, I've actually got to have my cursor on the object. So I'm going to do, and now we're going to flip these along the red axis. And we can actually bring them all and click them back in place. So by simply drawing one and copying and pasting them and flipping them around so they align with each of the corners, we've been able to do all of those feathers in position with only having to draw one of them. Now at the moment, you'll notice these are all the same length. When we make the box, however, we don't have to make them the same length. We can actually have a pattern. We can have some longer, some shorter. Really, they're just there to reinforce the corner, but we can have a visual element which creates a pattern using different lengths and different positionings of those feathers. So the next thing is we need to draw a lid. We have to put a panel in here. Now, we want that panel to be aligned to the top of the box here, but we want it to go down and fit in the groove. So we're actually going to draw the object sitting on top of the box because that's the easiest way to do it. And then we're going to lower it into the position of the groove and align it with the groove. And then we're going to use the sectioning tool to section through the box to make sure we've placed it in the right place. So how do we do that? And first of all, we're going to put a couple of guidelines on here. We're going to measure the guidelines on this top edge and we're going to come out 6 millimeters because that's the depth of the groove that we've got. And we can use that then to determine where to start drawing this lid in respect to where it's going to go into the groove later on. So two guidelines at 6 mils, and we can then use the rectangle tool. Now, because I haven't got any of these sides open in edit mode, this will just sit on the top of it. And we know how big it is because it's actually written over the top there. The panel is 220 by 130. So if I type in 220 by 130, enter. And that's not right, is it? I've made a mistake there somewhere. Undo that. Okay, so without having to calculate that, I'll just draw another line there, 6 millimeters, and another one here, 6 millimeters, and we'll draw the box from corner to corner. So from that corner to that corner there. And how big is that? That is, let's measure that up. Where did I go wrong? Well, it's 34 by there, 233 and 134, so I've already stuffed up with that measurement, didn't I? I'm going to have to change that. So that should be 234 and 136. So push pull. We're going to push it up 6 millimeters because that's the thickness of the groove we did. And we're going to triple click that, 1, 2, 3, make that a component, make it a group, and we're going to open it in edit mode. Now, remember that the groove was 6 mils deep. So what we want to do is we want to create a rebate on this, which is sort of like a ledge. And we've got a tool down here called the offset tool. And if we go and click on the offset tool on this surface here, we can draw a parallel line a certain distance in. Now, if we went in 6 millimeters, the panel would fit very neatly, but we want a bit of a groove, a bit of a gap there to allow for movement later on. So we're actually going to come in not 6 mils, we're going to come in 7 mils. Now, we're going to click on that space in there with that cursor, double click, and you'll notice it actually selects the surface and the boundary around the outside. Press the push-pull tool, and we're going to come up 6 millimeters. So we've come up a total of 12 millimeters, 6 here, 6 there. We're going to come up another 2 millimeters, but we're going to do a special thing called an auto fold. which creates a little chamfer around the top edge there. To do that, first of all, we're going to use the offset tool again, which is F for offset. We're going to select that surface there. We're going to come in and we come in 2 millimeters. So type 2, enter. We're going to do the same again, double click. And we're going to zoom in here because it makes it easy to do this while we're looking close. We're going to hit the M for move copy tool. We're going to select that edge there as a vertical surface to move along. And the moment we do that, we're going to hit the command key. And you'll notice a little infinity sign comes next to the cursor now, and then we pull it up, it creates a chamfer. We want to come up 2 millimeters. So 2, enter, and you'll have a look now. We've actually got a chamfer on that top. So we click off that, and you'll notice that we're sitting on top of the box. And we know that the groove is 6 millimeters down. So if we select the top now, and we hit the move copy, starting from that corner there, and we go down 6 millimeters, actually 12 millimeters. 12 millimeters, the box lid is now in place. And we can test that. We're going to test that by using a sectioning tool. And this is a sectioning tool down here. We click on that sectioning tool, sectioning 1, we're going to place it on that surface there. And once we've placed it there, we can select this corner here and with the move tool, move it along and section the end. Now, if we have a look now, you'll notice that we've got our little gap in here, and this is all aligned up with the groove very nicely. Don't need that sectioning tool on the moment, so we can double click and it goes off. Shift Z zooms out to the whole box, and we're going really quickly here. We've got 4 sides and a top. We've got to do exactly the same as we did for the top on the bottom. The difference with on the bottom, the panel is not rebated. It's simply a 4mm thick panel that fits into the groove. So in order to do that, we're going to do almost exactly the same. In fact, we can do it from the top because we've got these guidelines already here. But this might get in the road. So we're going to hide that. Select that object once. We're going to go up to here, view, and edit. We're going to hide that, get it out of the road. We're now going to draw a rectangle from that corner across to that corner. We're going to push that up 4 millimeters. We're going to triple click it, make it a group, and we're going to go down right down to the bottom. Now, the bottom is 93 millimeters away, and the bottom of the groove is 6 mils up. So 93 minus 6 leaves 87. So we're going to lower that 87 millimeters. So we're going to use the move tool. Again, we're going to click on that edge. We're going to go down, down, down along this edge, and then type in 87, enter. Now, if we use this section tool again by double clicking on it and have a look, you'll notice, yes, it's perfectly aligned. We've got that in place. We can now bring our panel back in place. So we go view, edit, unhide the last. Panel comes back in. And guess what, guys? We've finished the drawing. We've got our feathers, we've got our sides, we've got a top panel and a bottom panel. The only thing we haven't done is rendered it. In other words, we haven't colored it in. That's going to be for another video. Thank you for watching, and if you have any problems, come and see me.